loved this unit on dinosaurs from Gather Round. I was not expecting it, and you know what? I loved it. I might have enjoyed it more than the kids even. Well, as I've said before, we don't always do the Gather Round units the way that they are set up to be done, and this one is no exception. While we did use the teacher's manual and use it in our family time in the morning to read through, and it was an easy read, really enjoyable, what we didn't use was the workbook portion. But the surprise here was that actually at the end of every workbook, there is a discovery book for the students. And in that discovery book, they are writing facts that they learned about from that day. But then on the second page, they are drawing the dinosaur that they learned about from that day. My children love drawing so much more than handwriting. I have to really guard what they are doing, what I'm introducing to them to handwrite this. Okay, now write that, now write that for each subject. And I'm really protective of that because I don't want them to hate writing, but they love drawing. And that is still practicing those hand skills. So it is still a very good thing. Now, I only bought one level of the Dinosaur Unit study. I didn't buy the whole big family pack for this one. I just got the early elementary level, and that worked fine. I was just able to adjust what I needed to for my kids. Actually, I don't feel like I had to adjust anything because we didn't use the full workbook portion because we used other curriculums that we are using for some of those things. So like I said, we just did the teacher's manual. They did their discovery books while I was reading to them. It worked out super good. Everybody had such a fun time. We were actually really sad on days when we didn't have to do school, when we would be out doing other things. We would try to come home and see if we could like fit in a little lesson because it was so much fun. It was really so much fun. I did not expect that. So what made it fun? It wasn't just about dinosaurs. There was so much more packed into this study. So yes, you are learning about the paleontologists. You're learning their practice. You're learning their life and all of the conflict that they had. And one thing was called like the bone wars that these two friends got into because they wanted self-recognition rather than working together, and they could have gotten a lot more done. And these two were brought back up throughout the lesson quite a bit, and we were able to have so many good conversations about how that impacts our lives and how we act and how it impacts other people and our discoveries. And it was just really good. Now, every day, just like the Middle Ages unit, there is a family devotional section here. We found these to be really good. They always relate to what you are talking about in that lesson. And it was so good. I love having these built in. I wish all of the units had these built into them. I thought they were fantastic. So not only were we learning about paleontologists, but we were learning about philanthropists. We were learning about different styles of, I don't know, geology, I guess, and ichnology, I think it's called. That's like fossilized footprints. And there was a lot of apologetics brought into this unit. Gather Round is not shy about saying it's a Christian unit. And it really comes out here. They're showing you what a lot of archaeologists have found that supports the Bible and biblical evidences. And so we were able to get into a lot of that as well. And I think it went further with those things in the workbooks that we didn't use, but it at least touched the surface of some of those, which brought up great conversations. I am editing, and I wanted to include this part in as I was looking back through the notebook. For those of you wondering if or how it handles dinosaurs and the Bible, you have to hear this part. So this is in the last lesson. It says, without the Bible as our ultimate authority, things get really confusing. If we aren't convinced that the Bible is true, then we are left to a sea of opinions where right and wrong are interpretational and unclear. God gives us many keys in the Bible as well as a compass for how we should live our lives, but there are still many mysteries. For us to be in awe of God, He has to be bigger than our understanding. For us to need faith, we have to have unanswered questions. We will never know everything on this side of heaven, and so we get to continue asking questions and seeking the answers both in His Word and in the world He has created, all the while being full of wonder and awe at the vastness of our great God.
And isn't it a good thing that there are still unsolved mysteries? It means that someone like you might be the one to find the answers. So I love that. Also in lesson 1, it talks about the different positions people have taken with young Earth, or evolution, or creationist, like, here we go. Creation, theistic evolution, and discusses that right at the beginning so you can be talking about it throughout the entire book.
Now every day you're also learning about 1 to 2, I think 2 dinosaurs on most of the times. And so my boys were super into this, really interested about learning about the different names, how they get their names, which names stick. It was really fun. It was a good thing to go through for them that kept them interested in it as well. They would probably wanted to rush through some of the other things to get to that part, and I felt reverse about that, but everybody had a good time. One thing we did for this lesson that we haven't done in the past was order the MP3 to go along with it. Now, Rebecca actually has her son and one of her daughters do the voices for this. So they pretend like they're doing a radio broadcasting show, and they're telling you everything that you're learning about in that lesson. So there were definitely days where I didn't read, I couldn't read, I had some other things to do, and I would just pop on the MP3 and we would listen to the lesson that day. Now, we've also gone back and re-listened to lessons because my kids just have a lot of fun listening to these. There's a lot of like cheesy music that's brought into it or sound effects, but the kids find it pretty interesting. So this is something that we will be able to listen to in the car or while they're playing in the background or something else, or if they decide that they do want to learn more about dinosaurs. Again, I can always replay this, and it's an easy way to get some of those reminders as well. Through doing these unit studies, I have learned that my children really enjoy when we plan a big ending for the unit study. So for this one, we actually found this dinosaur pinata, and we agreed on an age-appropriate dinosaur movie for them to be able to watch, and that was kind of how we ended our unit. It was really fun. We also enjoyed doing these eggs that like you dig through to find the little dinosaurs inside. They were really fun. They are on like the top of my price point of what I like to spend for things, but it took the kids quite a while to get into them. And so there were times when they didn't do the drawing and I would read to them while they were kind of digging out their own dinosaur. And so that was a good way to switch it up for your little kids too. And if you have less than 4 kids and this would last you longer, then it might be a really good investment also. Check out some of the other things I found in a super great yard sale by clicking on this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.